as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. No doubt about it, Jeffrey enjoys his social life. The Wall Street Journal reports that in 2003, Trump allegedly sent Epstein what the paper describes as a, quote, bawdy letter for his 50th birthday. Trump now filing a $10 billion lawsuit against the Journal and its owner, Rupert Murdoch, alleging they falsely claimed that he authored, drew, and signed a letter containing salacious language within a hand-drawn naked woman, which was created with a heavy marker, and insisting no authentic letter or drawing exists. ABC News has not independently corroborated the letter. The Journal stands by its reporting. When Epstein was arrested in 2019, Trump said they'd had a falling out and hadn't spoken in 15 years. And now some Democrats are joining Republicans in Congress demanding the files be released. Even Speaker Johnson has said they should come out, but now he says he won't call for a vote on a resolution to back that up, saying the administration, quote, needs to have the space to do what it is doing. David.
Mary Bruce live at the White House. Mary, thank you. We turn next year to a horrific case in upstate New York. The father who told police his 9-year-old daughter was abducted in a white van, then leading to an Amber Alert, is now charged himself with her murder. Tonight, hear the daughter's last call to her mother, and here's our chief investigative correspondent, Karen Thurston.
Tonight, this father is in custody, charged with killing his 9-year-old daughter after telling police she had been abducted near Lake George in upstate New York by a stranger in a white van.
Female was taken approximately 15 minutes ago. We believe it was the exit 22 rest stop. They stopped for a bathroom break for her.
Police issued an Amber Alert Saturday night, but say they quickly determined Luciano Fratolin's story did not hold up. Melina Fratolin was found dead Sunday morning in a remote pond. The two had been driving home to Montreal from a seemingly normal vacation in Connecticut and New York City.
At about 6:30 p.m., she spoke to her mother on the phone and told her she and her father were en route back to Canada. The child appeared to be in good health. It did not indicate she was under any duress.
Sometime after that phone call and her father's report about an abduction 3.5 hours later, police say Fratolin murdered his daughter. Melina lived with her mother, who was estranged from the father. Police say the mom had not been worried about the father-daughter trip. No word on a motive tonight, David. Police said the father has no criminal history and no history of domestic violence. He's charged with murder and concealing a corpse. No comment from his attorney. David.
Aaron Petersky with us here. Aaron, thank you. Overseas tonight to the horrific images of fighter jet crashing into a school in Bangladesh. At least 20 people killed, many of them children. And the stories now coming in of students rushing in to help. Here's ABC's Tom Superbridge.
Tonight, a devastating scene in Bangladesh after a fighter jet slammed into a school. At least 20 people killed, more than 100 injured. Students rushing in to help as fierce flames and heavy smoke engulfed the building in the capital Dhaka, trapping many inside. First responders pouring water on the wreckage, searching for survivors. Officials say the jet crashed into the second floor of the building, filled with third and fourth graders. The youngest victim, just 5 years old. The Chinese-made jet suffering a technical malfunction shortly after takeoff, while on a routine training mission. Authorities say the pilot made a valiant attempt to avoid densely populated areas before crashing into that school. David, the country's interim leader calling the loss of life irreparable as authorities launch a full investigation. David.
All right, Tom Superbridge with us as well. Tom, thanks. Tonight, Israel expanding its operation into Gaza. Dozens of Palestinians reportedly killed while they were seeking aid. And it comes just days after the Catholic Church there. The late Pope Francis, with Paul Daly, was hit in Gaza too. Here's Ian Payne.
Tonight, nearly 100 people killed trying to get food aid in Gaza, according to the Hamas-run health ministry. The Israeli military accused of opening fire on desperate crowds. Hospitals overwhelmed with the dead and wounded. This man saying they raised their hands in peace to the soldiers, but the bullets came anyway. Israel disputing the death toll, saying they fired warning shots to remove an immediate threat, but they haven't said what the threat was. And with supplies running out, the need is crushing. Our team meeting Loran and her severely malnourished 5-month-old baby daughter Haya at the hospital. The deep pain and frustration of not being able to look after my baby is indescribable, she says. It comes just days after that deadly Israeli strike on Gaza's only Catholic church, the same church the late Pope Francis would call nearly every day. David, the White House tonight admitting President Trump caught off guard by that church attack and quickly phoning Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel. Netanyahu then issuing a statement saying the church attack was an accident that Israel deeply regrets. David?
Our Ian panel with us tonight. Ian, thank you. When we come back, a lot more news ahead. The case that rocked New York City in the nation, the Eitan Pates case, and what a judge has now decided tonight, all these years later, it's making news. Also, a top college football recruit has been killed, an 18-year-old freshman. And tonight here we remember a well-known actor. He appeared in more than 70 TV shows, and you'll definitely remember his work. Tonight, a major turn in the missing child case that shook New York City and the nation, the disappearance of Eitan Pates, one of the first children to appear in a milk carton. A federal appeals court today overturning the conviction of Pedro Hernandez, ruling he should either be retried or released from prison. Hernandez confessed to luring the 6-year-old into a basement in Manhattan and killing him in 1979. His body was never found. The court finding the trial judge's jury instructions prejudiced the verdict. Tonight, authorities are searching for the suspects after the deadly shooting of a top college recruit of football recruit at Ole Miss. Authorities say freshman Corey Adams was shot and killed just 10 minutes after arriving at a party outside Memphis. He was just 18 years old. When we come back tonight, we remember a well-known actor in more than 7 TV shows.
In 2 miles, take exit
To the index, we learned today that actor Tom Troopers died. His career spanning decades, movies, TV, theater, more than 70 TV shows, including the original Star Trek and Mission Impossible. A Korean War vet, he received the Bronze Star for his service. He was 97. When we come back tonight, the world's top-ranked golfer celebrating his big win, but it was his little guy who stole the show. Finally tonight, American Scotty Scheffler, his big win, but it was his little guy. Folks, we're waiting for tonight. Tonight here, the baby who stole the show. 29-year-old American Scotty Scheffler winning the British Open, but it was his 14-month-old son who adorably stole the spotlight.
Scotty Scheffler has his Open Championship.
Golfer Scotty Scheffler winning his first British Open in Ireland. The crowd erupted, walking over to his wife Meredith and their 14-month-old son Bennett for a hug.
To my family, couldn't do any of this without you.
Bennett pointing at Dad, and then all eyes on Bennett. Dad watching his son trying to walk up to him on the 18th hole.
He's on a loose. Here he comes. No! It's not easy up those slopes.
Little Bennett taking a little tumble. One of the officials helping him up and handing him off to Dad. The crowd loving him. Dad carrying Bennett with one hand, his trophy in the other.
Got that one, just kept falling down, but you know, it's part of the learning curve and growing up.
Tonight, Scotty Scheffler now just one major away to U.S. Open for winning a career Grand Slam, saying he is thankful to have his family and, of course, Ben right by his side.
At the end of the day, you know, there's more to life than playing golf, but you know, I'm pretty excited to go home and celebrate this one.
A win for Dad and son. By the way, ABC News in its first newscast exclusively on Disney Plus. What you need to know: James Longman, Rachel Scott, weekdays.
Most watched newscast in America. And now, ABC's World News Tonight has won the Emmy for Best Live News Program for the 3rd year in a row.
From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
For 60 years, the assassination of President John F. Kennedy has remained America's most haunting mystery. Official investigations offered a lone gunman, but millions never believed it.
After the U.S. government's release of documents on the assassination of John F. Kennedy,
now, startling new evidence and declassified documents have exposed a truth far more chilling than anyone imagined. A convergence of rogue intelligence agents, organized crime, and geopolitical agendas appears to have orchestrated the killing, not a random act, but a calculated execution. What was once dismissed as a conspiracy theory is now grounded in undeniable proof. At last, the case isn't just reopened, it's cracked. The JFK assassination is finally solved, and the truth is shocking. Let's take a look at what led up to the resolution. The day that changed America forever. November 22nd, 1963, just past midday in Dallas, Texas, Gunfire erupted as President John F. Kennedy's motorcade passed through Dealey Plaza. The shots struck the president fatally in the head and neck, sending shockwaves through the nation and the world. The young, charismatic leader, symbol of hope and progress, was gone in an instant. Chaos erupted. First Lady Jackie Kennedy cradled her dying husband as the vehicle rushed to Parkland Memorial Hospital. Doctors tried in vain to save him. Less than an hour later, news anchors confirmed what millions feared. The 35th President of the United States was dead.
From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Lyndon B. Johnson was swiftly sworn in aboard Air Force One. The national trauma had begun. In the hours that followed, a man named Lee Harvey Oswald was arrested for the murder of a Dallas police officer and later charged with the assassination of JFK. 2 days after his arrest, Oswald himself was gunned down on live television by nightclub owner Jack Ruby before he could be properly interrogated or tried. A suspect eliminated, a motive left unexplored. The Warren Commission, established by President Johnson, released its final 889-page report in 1964, concluding Oswald acted alone. It was intended to bring closure. Instead, it birthed the greatest wave of skepticism in American political history. Could a lone 24-year-old ex-Marine have changed the course of a superpower with 3 gunshots? Millions weren't convinced then, and they certainly aren't now. Public mistrust began to fester. Eyewitnesses offered conflicting stories. Abraham. Zapruder's infamous home video footage contradicted official statements. Ballistics evidence raised more questions than answers. And as more key files remained classified or redacted, conspiracy theories grew from the cracks in the government's story. Now, 6 decades later, a new investigation spearheaded by filmmaker Rob Reiner and journalist Soledad O'Brien in a detailed 10-part podcast series has reignited the case. With the help of former CIA insiders, forensic experts, and newly released government files, they piece together the crime not as a mystery, but as a solved puzzle. And what emerges from this investigation isn't just unexpected, it's shocking. The truth didn't just slip through the cracks. It was buried deep